Analogue Horror, Low Fidelity Nightmares. I present to you a skeleton, a normal sight, but let me add a VHS effect and a bunch of filters. Spooky, right? Analogue horror is something that has fascinated me for years. I first talked about it with Petscop way back in 2018 when I, no joke, didn't know what analogue horror was, and also apparently didn't know how to edit YouTube videos.
It's gonna immediately attract controversy, and YouTube knows that.
Couldn't have just cut that part out, could ya, past Mr. Cow? Jesus Christ, you lazy bastard. Analogue horror is basically spooky stories told in a cryptic manner with analog aesthetics. Think VHS tapes, cheap camcorders, radio and TV broadcasts, stuff like that. Aesthetically speaking, it's very similar to something like Dr. Steve Brule, if you've ever seen that, but just a smidge less scary.
What kind of animal you want to be, Dingus?
Probably a dog.
Nope.
No?
That's not it. You'd be a dangatang.
There are various Analogue Horror Series available for free on YouTube that are perfect for late night viewings during Halloween, and seeing that Halloween is right around the corner, I thought I'd share some of my favorite Analogue Horror Series with all of you this year, starting with Local 58 TV from Kris Straub. In this 12-episode series, Kris Straub takes us through a chilling, uncanny world via the fictional TV station Local 58. It's a goosebump-inducing good time that's bound to get you in the mood for ghouls, pumpkins, and even the Grim Reaper. But Mr. Cow, what's Local 58 about? Let me show you. You are on the fastest available route. The first short opens with a programming listing for Local 58. At 12:05, the midnight movie begins. 5 minutes late if you ask me, but then at 1:55, paid programming begins. At least, that's what's supposed to be happening. Paid programming slowly disappears from the schedule, and we cut to this.
Proceed to the highlighted route. Continue on Holbrook Park Drive, then in 500 feet turn right onto North 38th Street.
An unknown person is seen driving on a rainy, grainy night. The voice of the GPS rings out through the car as it guides them to an unknown location. The driver follows the GPS instructions for just over 3 hours, but then the GPS says this.
Continue on unnamed road, then, in 300 feet, turn off your headlights.
Spooky, right? What, you scared of the dark? You scared of Siri telling you to drive to your doom to get impregnated by a demon? Well, if darkness doesn't scare you, how about loud noises?
Rerouting. Make a U-turn. Your destination is behind you. Rerouting. In 500 feet. Your destination will be on in 300 feet. Your destination in 250 feet. Rerouting. Your destination will be in 50 feet. You will arrive at your destination.
You have arrived.
So fucking good. Simple idea. Someone follows their GPS for some reason to a mysterious location where they are likely killed by an unknown entity. Why did this person follow their GPS to this strange location? Was the location tagged to the creature or entity in the woods? Sorta seems like it. So was this person willingly driving to their doom? Did they know that they would be killed, or were they tricked? Were they investigating something? So many fun questions to ask, but there are so few answers here in this first installment. But don't worry, all will become clear by the end of the video. Sort of. It's Analogue Horror, so it's kind of up in the air, but it'll sort of all be clear at the end of the video. Contingency. It's the end of the broadcast day for Local 58, but just as they finish, a strange logo flashes on screen. It's for the Department for the Preservation of American Dignity. Then we are greeted by this, the title card for a film from the same department titled Contingency Message Reel. The locator says US-DF-pad / a bunch of random bullshit, to be used only in the event of the United States' complete surrender to insurmountable enemy forces. Public broadcast only upon confirmed condition. 12 Omaha solemn certainty. Said hike, Peyton Manning drops back to pass, over the middle, oh no! Chills and goosebumps have once again spread across my entire body and penis. Insurmountable enemy forces, broadcast only upon confirmed condition. This is a message meant for people who have likely just been conquered, defeated in a war, or overthrown directly from what I'm assuming is the US government. You're gonna hear me say this a few times in this video because it's true, but this is a genius idea for analog horror. It's such an ominous message. It builds up so much suspense for the rest of the short, and it's worth noting at the top as well, it clearly states do not use after 11/13/1970. The first short took place on 11/21/2014. Is this a relic of the past that was never used, or is it a relic of the past that had to be used? The next still says the message is about to begin, and chillingly along the bottom it says please comply with the following instructions. God bless America.
American citizens, the worst has come to pass. Despite the sacrifices of our citizens and the might of our armed forces, the United States has been forced to surrender to her enemy. Though they may occupy our borders, our streets, and our homes, the enemy will never occupy our spirit. That is why all Americans are now called upon to act, to preserve the memory of the United States clear and bright, untarnished and uncompromised. Know that I have already taken action in the company of family and loved ones. Now all Americans, every man, woman, and child, are called upon to act before the moment passes. Let our united resolve echo through history. Even in defeat, we refuse to yield. Even in defeat, we claim victory. President of the United States, Humpty Junk. Act immediately. Honor liberty by taking the final and greatest liberty of all. It is a privilege to be called to action. You take America with you.
We will each be remembered. Use the method most available to you at this time. Your courage will inspire others. There is nothing to fear.
The time has come. Access to a loaded firearm is ideal. Place muzzle, hole of gun, upward to roof of mouth. Thank you. Join your neighbors, your family, your God. As a citizen, you must act now. Your local law enforcement has been ordered to ensure your compliance. It is against the law to delay. This message will repeat until there are none to read it. If there is time, victory position. Remember the 3 F's. Front lawn, face up, feet together. Regarding your children, tend to them before yourself. Use a calm tone of voice. Everyone can do their part.
Infants and pets, the smallest patriots.
Correction! Earlier today, this station aired what appeared to be a warning message from a US government agency. This has been confirmed as a hoax. Local 58 apologizes for any confusion that may have resulted. Oh my god. It was Lyndon B. Johnson, not Humpty Junk, my bad. And also, holy moly, that was pretty dark. So the US DF pad, along with Lyndon B. Johnson, had a contingency plan in case America was ever taken over. And that plan was, if you had the time, as the one slide said, to lie out on the lawn and then kill yourself and your family, which doesn't, it seems like a questionable plan. This probably shouldn't be the part I'm hung up on, but what do you do if you live at a place without a lawn? I get it said if you just have time, but the lying out on the lawn thing is going to be kind of important later. Do you just go find a patch of grass to lay down on? And what was that bit with the baby about? Were they saying what I think they were saying and what YouTube sometimes gets mad at me for saying? Okay, so we've got baby death, child death, family death, adult death. Just about all the deaths have been mentioned 2 episodes into Local 58. And if you're unfamiliar with Local 58, this is just about as dark as it gets in terms of subject matter, but it's definitely not the scariest it gets in terms of presentation, which I know this is a pretty chilling short. I absolutely love it as a piece of analog horror, even though I've poked some fun at it here because I'm a clown and that's all I can do. But before YouTube gets mad at me for talking about fiction addition, and before some viewers get mad at me for poking fun at fictitious tragedies, let me just say, all of this subject matter has been dealt with in Family Guy before, and Peter Griffin was on Hot Ones. And YouTube, you love pushing Family Guy funny moments compilations on your platform, so don't go telling me I can't talk about an awesome analog horror series with dark subject matter while you go about petering your Griffin. Anyways, that was a long bit of me beating around the bush because I was made uncomfortable by the serious subject matter of this short. I mean, Jesus, this is a chilling thing to see, and it's executed in a very real way. What does it have to do with the overall story of Local 58? What's going on here? Why was this message played? Why was it retracted? Well, that's going to become clear a little later. For right now, Contingency is just sort of a disturbing piece of analog horror, but as Local 58 carries on, it's able to fill in the gaps a little bit, and then we can fill in more of those gaps. It's never really a full picture with analog horror, but you get close. Similar to how analog static and VHS effects blur things, so too is the story of analog horror blurred and skewed. The one thing I really love about Local 58, and especially this Contingency short, is how it feels, looks, and sounds like something you're not supposed to be seeing. And in this case, we're literally not supposed to be seeing this. This was not to be shown after 11/13/1970. So as a viewer, we're seeing this and thinking, wow, okay, that's probably like an old, out-of-date message from some now defunct department of the government from Lyndon B. Johnson's administration. That's how it feels as a viewer, but keep in mind, we don't actually know when this aired in the context of Local 58. We also don't know how people in the world of Local 58 would have reacted to this message when it aired, whether it be in the 2000s or in the 1970s before its use-by date was up. It makes me wonder if someone in the world of Local 58 saw this message while watching the station and decided to take action as the message states, which is really chilling, really unsettling, really tragic, and kind of horrific. Contingency and You Are on the Fastest Available Route both can kind of stand on their own as individual pieces of analog horror. They don't immediately connect into the whole overarching story of Local 58. But that's not the case for the shorts that are coming up. From here on out, things are going to start tying together. They're going to start connecting, and we're going to start to see a story unfold in this bizarre world. Weather service. Hear this noise? That was the single scariest thing I ever heard when I was a kid. Yeah, you see, back in my day, we had tornadoes in my neck of the woods when I was a wee boy, and anytime that emergency alert system would come on, well, I would freak out. I'd be inconsolable. It scared the shit out of me. And this short sent me right back to my childhood. Once again, things seem fine on Local 58. We get to see a nice little programming lineup, and for the first time, we get a setting for Local 58. Edenvale, Icker Falls, Lasker City, and the greater Mason County area. Where is that? Well, we don't really know exactly yet, but I guess it's in the greater Mason County area. I don't know why, that's what I just said. We don't know. Sorry. But then we're greeted with my nightmare noise.
Emergency alert system. County authorities issued weather warning for your area. The County Weather Service has issued a warning for a meteorological event. This warning is effective immediately and continues until sunrise tomorrow morning. Citizens are advised not to observe this event with the naked eye.
And then, all is back to normal. Until it isn't.
Emergency alert system. County authorities issued civil danger alert. The County Weather Service has issued the following correction for the weather warning in effect. For your safety, remain indoors. Do not look at the night sky. More information to follow.
Now this message roughly connects with the weather alert we just saw, but then something strange happens.
The meteorological event is safe for all to view. Warning has been lifted. Go outside now. If you can read this, look at the moon. Do not look at the moon, sorry. Stay inside, don't look at the night sky! Face away from all windows. Avoid mirrors. Do not look up. The following is a message from the County Weather Service.
It's in the light. The moon came in. He found me. Through the mirror. Moonlight white. White like eyes. Not light but blood. I drown in him. If you are afraid, we will look together.
Well, guess I'm scared of the moon now. So the moon is attacking, or it's poisoning people, or it's alien mind control, or the government is fucking us up. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it scares me. Genuinely. This one creeps me out, makes me feel gross, and I love it. Now, like I said, this is where the story starts to connect. We see two very important things. The moon and Local 58 being tampered with. We have a safety message that is then edited by something to say the opposite thing, which is a scary idea, but it also speaks to the intention of whatever we're dealing with here on Local 58. Something is trying to manipulate people into looking up at the night sky, and then something happens. Now, this kind of connects us back to the first short because we see a GPS leading someone somewhere, supposedly to their death. So it's likely that whatever is messing with the Local 58 is also able to mess with GPS systems. It may also be the reason in the Contingency short that we see the message from Lyndon B. Johnson that we did, instructing people to act, for lack of a better term. All of these strange occurrences on Local 58 seem to be the work of the same thing, and that thing we're going to call for right now the moon, or some entity within the moon, or some entity using the moon. Now, what is the moon trying to do? Well, so far it seems like it's trying to harm humans. In the first short, we see a human being likely die. In the second short, we are greeted by a likely out-of-date government message instructing people to kill themselves. And then we have alerts that are supposed to protect human life being manipulated to tell people to do the opposite of the thing that would protect them. It's also worth noting that much of the first short takes place outside at night, supposedly in Mason County as well, in the same setting as Local 58. And in the second short, what are people instructed to do if they have time? Go out on the lawn and lay on their back, where they will then be looking up into the night sky. And clearly, all that the entity or the moon wants in this last short we just saw is for people to look up into the night sky. But what happens when you do look up into the night sky? Well, that's a question that'll be answered very soon. Local 58 Station ID. This one was sort of just a teaser for things to come within Local 58. It doesn't really stand on its own as a actual short within the series, but there is one very important thing to mention here. There are a series of phrases listed one after another in this short. Look away, it does not matter, there are other receivers, safety in numbers. Now, these terms don't really mean anything to us right now, apart from look away and it does not matter, meaning that if you look away from the night sky, it probably won't matter because there are other receivers and there are safety in numbers. Now, those last two aren't really clear right now, but unpacking those first two, easy peasy. Apparently, this thing can do other things than just manipulate people into looking up into the night sky. At least, that's what I think it's implying. But that's about all there is to glean from this one. Now on to the next. SFC, as I will be referring to it as, because I guess YouTube designated this original Local 58 video as made for kids by mistake because they're stupid? I don't know how you even managed to do that. Maybe spend a little less time working on AI bullshit and, focus on making sure the creators that make stuff for your creator-centric platform aren't getting screwed over. Can you handle that, YouTube, huh? Can you use critical thought, huh? Anyways, I'm sure it's not a problem now, but I'm not taking any chances. SFC works just fine for me. It could just as well stand for shit, fuck, cock, and there is no way a video with that in it is gonna be designated as made for kids. SFC, Spooky Clown, Local 58, I'm already unsettled. Ah, cool, this is a show about a skeleton. I love this, I get why they called it SFC. This is like a little animated show for kiddos. This is great, I love skeletons. Oh, and he's going to see his sweetheart. Jesus, that is terrifying. And this little poor skeleton guy thought the same thing and booked it out of there. And all the while, the moon has been smiling down upon him. Well, with no sweetheart to look for any longer, I guess our little cadaver friend is just gonna go grave peeping. Oh, good. Look, a nightmare. I bet that fell out of Satan's pocket while he was walking around up there earlier. Ooh, this one has a tunnel, and the cadaver jumps in. He walks for a while and then lies down in the dirt in his own grave. And for a while, he's fine, until the moon rolls in, and then suddenly, he's dead. Yeah, don't show that to children. Show it to me instead, because that was pretty great. Creepy visuals, uncanny vibes, it's awesome. And the main through line here, once again, seems to be the moon. First we hear "don't look at it," and then a cute cartoon skeleton looks at it and he's all bones now, but in a bad way. Now it's worth noting that for the majority of this cadaver short film that we see, there is very little interruption like we've seen in other videos from the moon or whatever entity is messing around with the local 58. And this leads me to believe that this cadaver short, a grave mistake, that this thing wasn't something that was tampered with in the same way as the previous shorts we've seen. This very well could have been a piece of children's programming warning kids not to wander around at night and gaze up into the stars at the moon or else they'll die. As we already saw in the Weather Service installment, there seems to be an aspect of manipulation and trickery that the moon uses to get people to gaze up at it. And this short seems to be more of a cautionary tale, or at least some horrific picture of what could happen. That being said, this SFC short does give us one valuable piece of information that is almost indisputable. If you lay down and look up at the moon, you'll die. That's what happens to our little cadaver character. He's fine until the moon rolls around. Now, how this cadaver character dies is unclear. Is the moon stealing his soul, his essence? Is something happening to him? Is he being changed? Who knows? All we have at this point in the series is a little skeleton friend who is a-okay until the moon comes about. A look back. Again, this is a teaser video showing that there is more to come for Local 58, but there are still some important tidbits here. The first bit is that Brood Hollow has been added to the list of cities where Local 58 airs in. It's also important to note in this short that the Local 58 network title cards are presented in order from oldest to newest. The first title card claims that Local 58 was the first station in Mason County. Following that is the title card from the Contingency short, you know, the one with the baby and all that jazz. And the reason this is an important detail is because the initial title card is in black and white, and color TVs were picking up in the late 60s and early 70s. So there is a possibility that this title card is from sometime in the 1970s. So the 11/13/1970 expiration date, so to speak, of the Contingency message may not have been up when it actually aired. That's still something that's up in the air right now that we don't fully know at this time. But this short, this little teaser, gives us a slight chance, a slight glimpse at the possibility of this Contingency message airing at a time when it may have been taken seriously by viewers of Local 58, which is fascinating. Also, the idea that something else is controlling the Local 58 TV station is backed up here a bit as well, and later in the video we see a clip from the first Local 58 episode, except this time it cuts down the word moved, and it kinda sounds like moon.
Your destination has moved.
Now it could be nothing, or it could be slightly less than nothing. It's kind of just a cute little detail I noticed. Maybe it's also just how the video is cut. Doesn't really matter. We're on to the next installment of Local 58, which just so happens to be the one that I would consider to be the most unsettling. Real sleep.
This video cassette is non-transferable. It is intended solely for the personal use of Gerhard Philipp ID 750117.
From the Thought Research Initiative.
Real Sleep. Video cassette instruction. Copyright 1983, Thought Research Initiative. Section 1. Myth versus fact. Turn to page 7 in your workbook.
Ah, shit, I left my workbook on the floor of my dad's car. No, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Myth or fact. Dreaming is necessary for regular sleep function.
Fact: modern medicine agrees that REM, rapid eye motion sleep, is necessary for mental health. While dreaming can occur during REM sleep, it is merely correlational, not causal. Myth or fact: dreams contain symbolism that can predict the future. Fact: the symbols in dreams arise from the unconscious mind assigning narrative meaning to a neurochemical waste filtration process. Precognition is a lie. Myth or fact: sleep allows the body and mind to heal and recover. Fact: 8 hours of sleep per night is beneficial for both body and mind. However, these benefits are greatly diminished by the frantic nonsensical images and auditory hallucinations we call dreaming. Dreaming is the vestige of a primitive mind. Okay, so this video will kill your dreams and make it easier for you to sleep. Got it, easy peasy. I totally didn't have to look up precognition, which is knowing the future, and vestige, having the trace of something, in this case, a trace of a primitive mind. Section 2, the Kleitman Map. Turn to page 9 in your workbook. Our studies have allowed us to zero in on the neural pathways that dreams exploit in the subconscious mind. A Kleitman map is an index of electric activity in a brain burdened by dream stimuli. Once mapped, this activity can be triggered by other controlled stimuli, including via the visual cortex. The opposite effect can be induced by using the inverse of the Kleitman map. No more dreaming. This is what restful, real sleep looks like. Section 3. Inducing your anti-dream. Close workbooks and watch the screen. No two minds are alike. This instructional video was customized for you using the personalized Kleitman map from your Week 6 sleep session. Sequence 1. Visual calibration. Stare directly at the center of your television. I am unsettled. Pretty sure that last one is like a dog mask or something, but I gotta say, that is so creepy looking. I'm counting that as the first jump scare in this series. And let's face it, it's a damn good one. They have all this setup, they explain everything to you, and then they hit you with these nightmarish images, all the while explaining that yes, this is gonna help you sleep better, get rid of your dreams, and then you're left with nothing afterwards so your brain can try to make sense of what you just saw. It is so well executed, so creepy, and it does beg the question, why is this airing on Local 58? And why would someone need to go about this just to fall asleep? Where did this come from? Did this come from Mason County? Are there weird goings on in Mason County beyond just the moon? Kinda seems like it with this weird nightmare, but then again, it could be from somewhere else. We've already seen a message from Lyndon B. Johnson from the 70s that was very much something that was supposed to go out to the entire country. So maybe this is like a military thing, maybe a cool spy kind of instructional video to help out soldiers, or whatever the American version of 007 is, Jack Reacher, Chris Pratt. Is it Chris Pratt? I think it's Chris Pratt. Sequence 2, cortical memory. More flashing faces that slowly meet in the middle and still make me wildly uncomfortable. Sequence 3. Ablation of subconscious. Listen to the phrase and repeat aloud.
There are no faces. 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 Sequence 4. acceptance. Read each phrase without reading. Only the awake may think. Seeing is for open eyes. Cognition is a lie. I dream the world awake. There are no faces. Dreaming is a vestige. Sleep is pretend. A dream is a cowardly thought. Sleep is not civilized. The mind is a tyrant. This is your time now. I will never dream again. Stay out of your bedroom. There is no work to be done. Dreams are just screaming with pictures. The pure of mind do not slumber. No good thought follows instinct. The lie of sleep seeks many vessels. We are our own gods. Let cognition nourish itself. Logic is the final burden. The primitive mind deserves its nightmares. When we sleep, we die. I am an idea thinking itself. They are not faces. The subconscious is a parasite. Dreaming is a cancer on the face of sleep. They follow night to bleed dreams. The primitive mind deserves its nightmares. Your home has another door. Unconscious is a threat. We are not meant to dream. You owe the messenger. What is true unmakes the false. Sleep is a scavenger.
Good night. You have completed the Real Sleep program. Most patients report a night of dreamless sleep after only one viewing of this video cassette. Consult your technician if you are experiencing delayed results and/or unwanted side effects. Do not see a doctor.
And that, my friends, is Real Sleep. What a short. What a great idea. Not being able to sleep is scary and frustrating enough, but then you add this, something that is pretending to help that in actuality is doing the opposite, telling you the opposite, not to go to sleep. So why is this playing on Local 58? Well, I think there's a real obvious answer here if you've been paying attention. When does the moon come out? What are people told not to look up into? The night sky. If people aren't able to sleep after watching this on Local 58, if they're tricked into it, then they're more likely to see out of the window the moon, and then they'll be taken or killed or whatever happens, whatever the moon wants, it will get, because people will not be sleeping. Now, I know it's the opposite of what the video was putting forward. The video is saying that if you get rid of dreams, it will be easier to sleep, and it has all these nice little graphics and stuff like that. However, it says things like, the pure of mind do not slumber. Stay out of your bedroom. Sleep is pretend. Sleep is not civilized. What I think is happening is that this was originally something that was actually supposed to help people get real sleep, but it has been tampered with. It has been corrupted by the moon or whatever entity is up there to get people to not sleep, so they are more likely to fall victim to its unknown powers at this point. The powers of death, the powers of sucking you up to the moon and stealing your essence or replacing you with an alien, who the hell knows, but it's clearly been tampered with because it's being presented as real sleep, yet we can point at the end to all of these other instances where it is actually encouraging you not to sleep. Now, before we move on to the next short in Local 58, we have to talk about one last thing, which is this particular message. Your home has another door. Creepy, right? There's a way into your home that you don't know about. There's a way inside that you're not seeing, and it comes along with this primitive mind humans have and the desire of the moon or the entity within the moon. Your home has another door. The home could literally be where you live, or it could be Earth, because we're likely dealing with something extraterrestrial, or even more chilling, home could be referring to humanity. There's another way into your mind that you're not seeing, but something else, something dangerous, does see it. Your home has another door. You owe the messenger. The pure of mind does not slumber. A door isn't just a way in, it's also a way out, and I've thrown around the idea that the moon is trying to wipe out humanity by messing with the Local 58 and getting people to look up at the sky where they'll either die or disappear or something bad happens. But we don't know if it's death for certain. Sure, our little skeleton friend looks like he dies after gazing upon the moon, but as I already talked about in that section, that may have been a genuine warning put out by people on the Local 58 that wasn't being manipulated by the moon. In the Contingency short, we see people lie out on their front lawn, feet together, facing up. up, and from there, they're supposed to, kill themselves. But what do they do just before that? They lie down and they look up into the night sky. So if that was an interruption being manipulated by the moon, why is it so important for them to look up? Why is it so important not to be afraid of the night sky? Why do people have to look up at it? If it was just trying to get rid of humanity, that's not an important detail. Real Sleep is the first short that really has me questioning the intentions of this entity that's manipulating people in Mason County. The one thing we know for certain is that it wants people to look up into the night sky at this moon. So when I read Your Home Has Another Door, I found myself thinking about it in two ways. Either this entity sees another way to manipulate humans into looking up at the night sky and doing with them what it wishes, or it's a reference to humanity. The door is a way out. There's a way out of Earth, of this existence that we're not seeing, that the moon is so happy to bless us with. This is one of the reasons I love analog horror. You're able to communicate so much with so little, and then the audience is left to fit the puzzle pieces together. Even if the full puzzle isn't there, it's still worth trying to construct because it's so intriguing and so mysterious. Anyways, that's enough door talk for right now. Let's move on to the next short. Skywatching, with a date of October 30th, 1991. Hey, one day before Halloween, how spooky! Skywatching with Hank Heidman. Oh, never mind. Skywatching with red letters and nobody. Sorry, Hank. This one's all about, get this, skywatching, spotting stars, different constellations, and even the moon. Oh, sorry. I meant his throne. We then get this insane looking close-up of the moon, and it doesn't exactly look like our moon here on Earth. It has these rotting spiderweb looking formations all over it. Weird shapes and symbols appear as well, like a large arrow. And then suddenly, it's gone.
Rejoice.
The moon is coming. It looks scary, and it just claimed another victim who may or may not be Hank Heidman. Now, at this point, I'm sure some of you are scratching your heads and thinking, this don't look like the moon I know, and you'd be right. This is clearly something different. It's not even called the moon in this video. It's called his throne. Now, we don't know exactly whose throne this is, but it's easy to assume that this is the throne of whatever entity is manipulating the local 58. When I think of a throne, I think of kings and queens, maybe even God in some instances, but I think when you really boil it down, a throne is somewhere where a ruler sits, someone with power over everyone else. And judging by the last little bit of text that appears on screen, rejoice, it's safe to say that this moon that we've already established has been manipulating people to look up at it through the local 58 is probably also manipulating people to view it as some kind of deity, as some kind of supreme force, some kind of ruler. Now, maybe that's what this thing actually is. It's a supernatural, extraterrestrial entity that has been sent to rule over and save humans and deliver them from their horrible lives in Mason County. But then again, maybe it's just a trick. Maybe his throne, or the moon, is really just trying to kill humans, trying to wipe them out. For what reason? We don't know. Is it capturing their souls or something to power itself up? We don't know. But what we do know now is it's probably not the moon we're familiar with here on Earth. It's something else, and when people look up at it, they rejoice, and then something happens. Either they die, they disappear, they get changed into something else, they evaporate, they serve in his holy army or something like that. We just don't know at this point. The easiest answer right now is death. Second easiest answer is they disappear without a trace, and we just don't know. Digital transition. Good news! Local 58 is switching to digital broadcasting tonight at midnight. What does that mean? I don't know. We could see the end of an old movie and then the announcement of the switch to digital broadcasting on July 14th, 2021. We then get a glimpse of Local 58 through the years, showing off all the branding changes and shows they once aired. And now we know for certain that the Contingency short took place at some time between 1970 and 1977, which sounds helpful, but in actuality it doesn't clarify whether or not this expiration date you're seeing on screen had actually passed or not when it aired, which I know some of you have probably already left comments, oh Mr. Cow, it doesn't matter if the expiration date passed. It's still a chilling message that some people may have followed because it aired on the Local 58. But personally, and maybe this is just a me thing, I feel like it's a lot scarier and a lot more impactful if this message aired before its use by date was up. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because we just don't know. We also learned that Show for Children took place sometime between 1993 and 2002, setting up that there had been occurrences and run-ins with this moon, with his throne, that have been going on for decades at this point. So the likelihood of this being a short made for kids in Mason County to warn them against going outside at night and poking around and looking up at the moon, for me at least, it's gone up exponentially. I think that this was sort of a after-school special, a little PSA warning telling kids, hey, don't go looking at that dang moon when it's out when your parents tell you about it. It's dangerous. After our nice trip down memory lane, the change happens. But then we're greeted by this message. If you are viewing this message, your TV has not been configured for digital reception. And then things get a lot spookier.
I'm thinking they move to cut his throat, only to make 1,000 mouths. If he is silenced, we will speak for him. Signs and wonders flood our little sky. No stars above us, only eyes waiting to open. There are other receivers.
So what does that mean? Well, analog TV broadcasting works by using high-powered radio frequency television transmitters. Thank you, Wikipedia. If you are transmitting something somewhere, it then has to be received, hence receivers. The switch to digital broadcasting may have been partially motivated by the moon, by his throne, because they were messing with the analog signals. But even after switching to digital, the transmission is still able to be affected by whatever the hell is going on with the moon. Spooky, right? There's no escaping it. At least, that's what I initially thought. You see, it's clearly stated that the TV that this is being recorded from within the world of Local 58 had not been configured for digital reception, so it may be the case that the moon actually cannot mess with these digital signals, although that'll be called into question a little later down the line with some other entries. It may still be the case that they can futz with it a little bit and tamper with things still. However, I think that the other receivers could be referring to other humans serving his throne. Remember that line from earlier, there's safety in numbers or something like that? And remember what happened to the alleged Hank Hydeman in the Skywatching short where he rejoices with his hands up to the moon, or at least someone does, and then it turns to static? Maybe the moon is enslaving people to its cause. Now, we don't know what that cause is at this point, but clearly it has something to do with getting humans to look up at the night sky at his throne. This digital transition short also says, we will speak for him. Maybe the moon, maybe his throne, isn't actually the thing tampering with the Local 58. Maybe his throne is getting people to serve him as a king would, as a god would, to tamper with the Local 58 and get more people to look up at the moon and either be enslaved by him, killed by him, or captured by him. The puzzle pieces are starting to fit together, but we still have two really important shorts to look at and one not so important short to look at. Which ones are they? What order are we going to look at them in? Well, you're just going to have to wait and see. close. Or close, depending on how you read it. Ooh, this one's a live stream. Fun! And it's from the Space and Aeronautics Regulatory Oversight, gang, I guess. CLOSE stands for Cometary Lander Orbiter Survey Expedition. And, well, I guess it says space and survey in those two things, so I think we're bound for another run-in with this moon we keep hearing so much about. Okay, I don't really know what he's saying for most of this. What, are you recording from space or something stupid? A little levity into the nightmare that is the Local 58. Discovered in 2006, the surface details of 57383 Eidolon have been difficult to discern due to its rapid rotation and high albedo. Oh, this rock likes to fuck. Oh, never mind. I guess albedo is how much sunlight reflects back on a scale of 1 to 0. High albedo means a shit ton of light is bouncing off of this moon, for lack of a better term right now, which means it's hard to get a good look at. At points during its rotation, shadows on 57838 Eidolon's irregular surface lent it nicknames Face in Space and Comet Skull. Well, both of those names are kind of scary. I like Face in Space best, so we're gonna stick with that. But hey, if you thought that was scary, it's about to get a whole lot worse. Ooh, an enhanced photograph from June 14th, 2006 that looks kind of like a chimp skull. Amateur photo from September 5th, 2016. A cool satellite that's gonna land on the Face in Space. Amateur photo from December 31st, 2017. I know it looks creepy, but this is just as likely to be a picture of a marshmallow flying through the air because of the bad quality. Don't trust all the faces in space you see, alright? That's a lesson you gotta learn young. The structure is then described as an Earth grazer, meaning it never approaches closer to the sun than the Earth. And the dang old thing is also classified as a potentially hazardous asteroid, but we don't have to worry about that for about 500 years. Uh-oh, it's getting closer though, and it's getting scary to look at. But don't worry though, the scientists assure us that it's just from the lighting. Oh, fuck off. What scientist is going to show that nightmare of a creation? And this false contrast image, I mean, Jesus, who the hell is gonna want to be a scientist after seeing that? They'll be waiting fucking tables. Are you kidding me? That's terrifying. Now, slowly, the satellite lander inches closer to the Face in Space, and then it lands. Oh shit, that's the door from Five Nights at Freddy's 4. I knew it! The moon was the purple guy the whole time! Oh, that's right, your home has another door. It's a literal door, I guess. Maybe it's a symbolic door for the purposes of this short. Probably not. It looks like that looks like an actual door, though. So, I guess your home, our home, has another door. And I guess that's saying that the Face in Space is our home, and that's the door? Maybe? I don't know. This one has really thrown a curveball at me. I was not expecting an actual door on the fake moon. Weird. All right, let's just run with this and assume this is the door that statement is referring to. The Face in Space is the home, I guess. Our home, your home. But what happens when we go there? Do we die? Do we live out our days on this moon? Are we sworn into service to it, or do we even realize we've sworn into service to it? Do we just become enslaved by it? All of that is still up in the air, but clearly this door is important, and there's only been one other mention of a door, and it was in that previous Real Sleep short. NSSA-3, Atypical. A little 58-second video. Get it? Get it? Because if it's a local 58, get it? And it's of a scary face. That's it, though. Moving on. Night Walk. A spooky series is airing on Local 58, and it's narrated by the Jack Lloyd Shaw. How about that, huh? They got a real celebrity for this one. And we finally get a concrete setting for Local 58. We already knew Mason County, but now we know West Virginia.
Mason County, West Virginia. Known for its share of strange occurrences and mysteries that border on the supernatural, even the occult. The ghost stories in Mason stretch back 100 years or more, as early as its founding by missionaries. The region is home to what some call the most haunted cities in America. But there is one particular legend that modern folklorists watched arise seemingly overnight. An urban legend unique to the county, the woman in profile. A local newspaper printed the first instance of the story in 1961. But unlike other campfire tales, the woman in profile first appeared in a police blotter. Authorities in Lasker City sought a person of interest who may have been the sole witness to the murder of Hannah Birch, a student at Maple Grove University. Witnesses described a woman standing in the courtyard, looking intently into the sky at something. When approached by onlookers, the woman moved away into the shadows, her gaze still fixed upwards. Then she disappeared entirely, without a trace. Since that night, there have been over 24 sightings of a woman who only appears in profile, her face upturned to the sky at twilight.
So this is a documentary within the world of Local 58 about the strange occurrences going on in Mason County, West Virginia. But then before we can hear any more from Jack Lloyd Shaw, there's an interruption.
Witnesses say the figure has even tried to
7:31 p.m., November 24th, 1996. The woman in profile is seen once again. She stares up into the sky as someone tries to speak with her.
Hey. Excuse me. Are you all right?
A predator cannot differentiate between prey and accomplice.
And that is the end of Local 58. And I'm sure some of you are wondering, what does it all mean? Well, I'll give you my best guess. For decades now, strange things have been happening in Mason County, West Virginia. A strange asteroid called the Face in Space passes by every once in a while, and when it does, people are advised not to look at it. If someone does look at it, they disappear. Maybe they die, maybe they get enslaved by the Face in Space, maybe they even get turned into these nightmarish creatures that serve the Face in Space and get other people to look up at it. It's unclear what the Face in Space wants and why it's doing what it's doing. But what we do know is that it goes to great lengths to manipulate people into looking up into the sky, going so far as to either get people to tamper with the Local 58 station themselves for it, or the Face in Space has some way of messing with those analog signals and changing messages on the channel to manipulate people into going outside and looking up at the sky. I don't think the Face in Space is a constant threat in Mason County, West Virginia. I think it crops up every once in a while, and when it does, panic ensues and it gets a whole bunch of new followers or victims. The idea of the Face in Space being referred to as his throne is really important, because when you think of someone with a throne, a king or a god, they have followers. So what I think is happening is humans are looking up into the night sky, and then they are taken by the Face in Space for some purpose. Usually that purpose is to get more people to look up into the sky so that there are more followers, hence the phrase safety in numbers. The phrase your home has another door, I believe, is referring to that door on the Face face in space. That's your new home once you look up into the sky, and you are forever in servitude to that entity. Now, for what purpose? Like I said, I don't really know. It could be world domination, it could be the end times and destroying Earth. Who knows? What I do know is what this thing is trying to do, at least from my perspective. I'd be very curious to hear yours. I'm not gonna lie, did not do any research on other theories before making this video because I didn't really care. I wanted to watch it myself and come up with my own idea for it, just like how I want you guys to watch Local 58 yourself and come up with your own theories on it, because that's half the fun. It's no fun just to look at everyone else's theories and try to find the right answer. What's really fun about analog horror and mysterious stuff like this is trying to find your own answer, your own interpretation. When I first wrote this script, my original conclusion was that the face in space was trying to wipe out humanity because of the Lyndon B. Johnson message and how the skeleton in the cadaver short lays down and then he's clearly dead and his life is gone. But after digging into it more, I feel like this answer suits my experience with the series more. I feel like it fits better based on the information I just gave you, but it could go the other way too, and that's part of the fun as well. So let me know down in the comments below what you think is going on with Local 58. Personally, I think it's human enslavement to the service of this weird entity that crops up in Mason County, West Virginia every once in a while. It's either turning them into monsters, maybe it has an army of aliens or something, and that's what we see in that last Night Walk short. But personally, if you ask me, as a fan of horror stuff, I like the idea of the face in space capturing humans, turning them into monsters that then serve it. I think that's a really cool idea. I hope that's the direction it's going, but I'll tell you this much, no matter which way Kris Straub, or Kris Straub, however you say it, whatever way he wants to take it, I'm sure I'll be happy with it, because what really works about Local 58, it's not just the story, it's not just these creepy ideas surrounding everything, it's the presentation that really works about Local 58. There are so many smart decisions, so many great ideas that are executed perfectly in the creepiest way possible. Recording this video was difficult at times because I was getting scared. I'm recording this right now in a completely dark room, completely alone, and anytime I have to go back through Local 58 footage with that creepy VHS aesthetic and the crazy sound design, it is just terrifying, and it is perfect for Halloween. And best of all, the series is completely free. You can just watch it on YouTube right now, which I implore you to do. And make sure to subscribe to Local 58 as well, because you never know, a new episode could come out any day now. We're in Halloween of 2025. It is possible that we get a new installment very soon. So once again, thank you to Kris Straub for making this incredible series that has haunted my mind for the better part of the last 5 years. I can't believe it's taken me this long to talk about analog horror here on this channel, and I am so happy that my first video is about Local 58 because I absolutely love this series, and I hope you all enjoyed this video breaking down Local 58, going over all of it, sharing my thoughts. If you made it this far, thank you sincerely. Make sure to like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. I'm thinking of doing a few analog horror videos this Halloween. We'll see how this one does, but full transparency, this was one of the most fun recording sessions I've ever had when recording a YouTube video. It's just a joy to talk about this stuff, especially this time of year. So seriously, thank you if you made it this far in the video, and I will see you all next time.